Hi everyone, I'm Paulo again from Espanol and English Private Tutoring. Today we're going to talk about some things books normally don't explain, especially this book. I'm going to refer to this book. This is the book we use for classes. You are not a student, you don't need to have this book. You are a student, just follow the pages that I'm going to give you. And again, if you are not a student, you can still learn from what I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to talk about the preposition a in Spanish, and some other things the book doesn't explain about uh, regular and irregular verbs. So on page, if you're a student, go to page 60 and start taking notes there. What I'm going to explain now is related to page 60. Let's see. Okay, so this book says the preposition a in Spanish means to in English, which is correct, but not always, because to can be used in different ways in English. For example, if I want to say I want to eat, ¿no? In Spanish will be yo quiero comer. Yo quiero comer. So in English you have I want to eat. You have 4 words. In Spanish we don't. We only using 3 words because to in English is not a preposition. In this case, to eat. To is an auxiliary word telling me that the verb eat is in the infinitive form. We don't have that in Spanish. The verbs that are infinitive in Spanish and on ER, AR, or IR. That's how you know a verb is in the infinitive form, because they have those endings. Okay. Now, but what do you want to say? Um, she needs to work to make money. To work to make money. To work is an infinitive verb. I already explained that. But to make money. And I'm going to put in Spanish here. Ella necesita trabajar para hacer dinero. Para hacer dinero. Okay. So we have para. Huh? So pay attention to this in English. She wants to work to make money. To, in this case, the second to is a preposition, which can be replaced with in order to. Instead of saying to, I can also say in English, she needs to work in order to make money. So in this case, to is equals para. Equals para. Okay. In other words, if to can be replaced in the sentence with in order to, it will translate as para in Spanish. Now, but what if I want to say she wants to go to the party tomorrow? Okay. She wants to go infinitive to the party tomorrow. I want to put it here. Ella quiere ir a la fiesta. Pay attention to this. Ah, so she wants to go to the party. In this case, to the party tomorrow is a preposition, but in this case, to is indicating movement. Is used with the verb of movement from one place to another. If this is the case, if to is a preposition in English and is indicating movement, it will translate as a into Spanish. Okay. Let me see what else we need to check here. For those who have the book, go to page 66. I'm going to explain a verb here. If you don't have it, you can also learn from this. The verb llevar. Okay. According to this book, the verb llevar means to carry or to wear, which is correct. Okay. This is extremely simplified. This can be more complex. These verbs, many verbs can have many expressions and many different meanings. So we are just learning the basics now. Now, do not confuse to carry with to take. Okay. So example. In English, I can say she took the pen from the table yesterday. I'm using past tense because it's easy. But she took her pen. She took the pen from the table yesterday. It would be ella tomó el lápiz de la mesa ayer. Ella tomó el lápiz de la mesa. Okay. Now I'm going to put here. Okay. So, but what I want to say, she takes her pen to school every day. Now pay attention to this. It says she took the pen from the table yesterday. So she basically manually took it with her hands. But when I say she always takes her pen to class, to math class every day, I'm not just saying that she took it from somewhere. I'm saying that she took it, but she carries the pen to class. Okay. If that's the case, to take is a synonym of to carry something to another place. If that's the case, then we use the verb llevar, not the verb tomar. Example: she always takes her pen to math class every day. Ella siempre lleva su lápiz a la clase de matemáticas todos los días. A la clase de matemáticas todos los días. Lleva. Sí. Okay, so we have ella tomó, which comes from the verb tomar. Tomar. And ella siempre lleva, which comes from the verb llevar. Tomar, llevar. So be careful with confusing to take as to take something from somewhere. Now, to take in English can also be used in an abstract way. For example, I want to take a break. So you are not physically taking something, but you're still using the verb to take. No? It's the same in Spanish. If I want to say, I want to take a nap, it will be yo quiero tomar un descanso. Yo quiero tomar un descanso. Sí. So these two are to take, and this one is also to take, but in this case, to take is a synonym of to carry something to another place. On the same page 66, in the book that I just showed in the beginning, we also have the verb pasar, which according to the book means to pass by, to happen, to spend time. Okay. Now pay attention to pass by. Okay? The same in English and Spanish. Prepositions that go after verbs are very important because they can change the meaning of the verb. So notice that in English you are using the preposition by. The same we have in Spanish. Pasar. We want to say pasar, but to pass by in Spanish will be pasar por. So this verb needs this preposition, a preposition por if you want to say to pass by. Now let's go to page 67. The verb tomar, which I already explained, has also different meanings. It can mean to take, which I already explained, to take something abstract or physically, but not to carry it. It can also mean to have something to drink, is correct, or to have breakfast. Now, the book also says that tomar can be used for to have lunch and to have dinner, which is incorrect. We don't say in Spanish to have lunch. We don't say in Spanish to have dinner. Instead, we have very specific verbs for this. If I want to say to have lunch, I will say I will use the verb almorzar. Uh, That's the verb we use. This is a verb in Spanish. It's a verb that you don't have in English. So this means to have lunch. Now, what do you want to say to have dinner? Will be cena. This is the verb we use for that. Now, in Spanish, when you say to have breakfast, you can say it that way. For example, tomar desayuno. Okay? I'm using the verb tomar because it's to have breakfast. But in Spanish, I can say the same in a different way. We also have a verb for to breakfast. Well, you can think of it as to breakfast, which you don't have in English. But we do have a verb for that. It will be desayunar. So you can say this or you can say this. This is a verb you have to catch it. So because of this, I'm going to give you a sentence here. And you tell me and try to think what is wrong with this sentence. Okay. So I'm going to put it here. Okay, so I'm going to put this sentence here. Well, this is on page 67, exercise 5.5, what does we have the book? So I already explained this, so let's see if you you figure out what the mistake is in the sentence. You can use a translator to find your answer. Pause the video before I continue. And try to answer before I give you the answer. Okay. Okay. So pause the video, try to figure it out by yourself, make changes, and then going to continue. So here, a good verb to use here, the first mistake is almuerzo, because the book is asking us, so I forgot to explain this. And this, for this sentence, you have to use the verb tomar. Okay. What about that? So pause the video again and use the verb tomar to answer this question. So if I do it, it will be a qué hora toman ustedes el almuerzo. Okay. Now the mistake that is happening here is almuerzo. Remember that we don't say to have lunch. Instead of that, if we want to use the verb tomar for this sentence, we have to change this because we don't say to have lunch. We have to change it to have breakfast. Entonces, I can say, ¿a qué hora toman ustedes el desayuno? ¿Qué horas toman ustedes el desayuno? That's correct. That's the first mistake. The second one, the next one will be number 6 in the book. So I'm going to put this sentence here and try to figure out the meaning in English. You can use the translator and pause the video before I give you the answer. En este caso, a good verb would be the verb llevar. Okay, so you try to use the verb llevar for this. Now, let's do it together. Yo llevo 2 bolígrafos y 3 lápices a la clase de matemáticas. Now, what is this in English? This in English is I take 2 pens and 3 pencils to math class. So is this sentence complete? If I say to you, I take 2 pencils and 3, I'm sorry, if I say I take 2 pens and 2 pencils to math class, is that a complete idea? The answer is no. To make it more, to make it better, it is good to include a transition word. Okay, so let's include it here in Spanish. Siempre. So in English, it's better to say, I always take 2 pens and 3 pencils to math class. That's a better idea. It's more complete. So if you have the book, make that correction at siempre. That to sentence 6 on page 67 and change desayuno for the first one. Okay, now I'm going to explain some things the book doesn't explain about some irregular verbs. For this, please go, if you have the book, please go to page 73. So I'm going to explain the verb saber. Okay, according to the book says that saber means to know something for a fact or to know how. Okay. Example, yo sé matemáticas. Matemáticas. Yo sé matemáticas. I know math. You know math for a fact, or I know math for a fact. Or you can also say, yo sé cómo estudiar. I know how to study. It will be to know how to do something. But what if in English you want to say, I know Jan? Do you know Jan for a fact? No, no. Do you know how Jan? It will make sense. No? So in this case, if I want to say, in English, I know Jan, it would mean I am familiar with Jan. In this case, the verb to know in English is a synonym of being familiar with someone, an animal, or thing. If that's the case, if the verb to know in English is a synonym of to be familiar with, in Spanish will translate as the verb conocer. So the sentence that I gave you before, I know Juan, will be yo conozco a Juan. Now, the verb saber has another meaning the book doesn't explain. The verb saber, depending on how you use it, can also translate as to taste. Example, la sopa sabe bueno. Okay, conozco, have sé. Now, page 74. This is simple, but just going to explain it. Exercise 6.3, number 2. The number 2 says, Carlos doesn't want to make a date with the dentist. That wouldn't make sense. It's better to say in English, Carlos doesn't want to make an appointment with the dentist. If you say date, you're going to have problems trying to understand. People are going to, and you translate it like that as today, people are going to have problems trying to understand what you're saying, because if a sentence doesn't make sense in English, it will not make sense in Spanish either. On page 78, number 13. I'm just going to put the sentence here and explain. Nosotros, so I'm referring to number 14. Nosotros, blank, Cansados porque tenemos que trabajar. Now let's do this one together. In this sentence, you have to use the verb stuff. So pause the video, try to answer. So would be estamos. Nosotros estamos. Nosotros estamos cansados porque tenemos que trabajar. Now try to think of this sentence in English. I want to help you now. I mean, you can pause the video and try to figure it out. This in English is we are tired because we have to work. So this sentence in English doesn't make too much sense because you are tired after work. You are not tired before work. It could be that you are tired, like you are born out of going to work, but it's not clear in English that that's the meaning. So because of that, there is a problem also in Spanish. So this in Spanish doesn't make sense. You want to say that you are born out, that's different. That's a complete different verb. But you want to say that you are tired because you work a lot, then that will be a better sentence. So let's put it here. Nosotros estamos cansados porque trabajamos mucho. This is a better sentence, Spanish. So we are tired because we work a lot. So change number 14. Page 7. And that's it for today. So see you next time. And if you want to learn Spanish, you can go to our website if you're not a student at espeng.net. That's our website, espeng.net. That all the information is in the description as well. And if you have any questions and you're a student, you know what to do. If you are not a student, you can leave a comment and we will try to answer your questions the best we can. Or other students or other people may answer your questions. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content. Okay, bye everybody.